Thank you, Moderator, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This session, as you know, is on sustaining quality in economic policy research, lessons learned from institutional approaches. And what I intend to do here is not to lecture about research quality, because all of us are researchers and we know what quality means in a research process, but to share our experiences at the African Institute for Applied Economics based at Enugu in Nigeria, and exchange lessons that we've learned about what has worked and what hasn't really worked, and to also let you know the context in which we have been working as a research institute. And I want to start by saying that the African Institute for Applied Economics is located within within a cluster of universities in Nigeria in the southeast, about 5 of them. And that gives us some advantage because we're able to draw research personnel from these institutions who come as associate fellows working for the institute. And that is a big source of strength for us, even though also it could become a risk factor in terms of availability of researchers to do the kind of work that we want to do. Now, in terms of the conceptual issues, the perspectives on research quality, we think that at the institute, we think that for us to talk about research quality, we have to talk about validity. In terms of concept and logic, we all know that the key fundamental element of research is scientific method, which is about verifiability, it's about credibility, transparency of the method. So that is given. The empirical proof is also an important perspective that we consider in our research results in terms of the methodological soundness and also the reliability of our results, precision, accuracy, and confidence. Now, we just have this illustration that the way we conceive research quality at the Institute as 3-in-1 nature, multidimensional, multifunctional, multi-stage attribute of the research process. Now, we look at research quality from the viewpoint of conception, initiation, implementation, monitoring to evaluation. This is not the traditional way to conceive research quality. In the universities where we come from, quality is measured strictly in terms of the methodological soundness, not in terms of the participation, not in terms of the process. But at the Institute, because of our think tank orientation, we see research quality in terms of substance, style, and process. And that runs through our research programs. Now, we have this important lesson here about ingredients of good quality policy research in terms of rigor, credibility, relevance, timeliness, completeness, digestibility, and legitimacy. These are important qualities which we try to bring into our research process. Now, how do we measure ourselves in terms of convince ourselves about the quality of our research? Citations in science and non-specialist literature, number and profile. We have mechanisms to track citations and in terms of where they take place and how they take place. Also, end-user acknowledgement. We have research products. For example, we have our flagship program, the Business Environment and Competitiveness Across Nigerian States, which we call the Beacons, which has wide spread acceptance and credibility in Nigeria. So end-user acknowledgement and perception is very important, whether in spite of what we scientists think about the quality of our research, those who are using the research must perceive it to be of good quality and credible. Otherwise, it merely ends up in self-glorification. Also, we also need peers' endorsement. Of course, that brings about the issue of anonymous peer review. At the Institute, we have 2-stage anonymous peer review at the inception of the research and at the conclusion of the research. And this is made possible by the grants and the support that we'll be getting from the TTI, because we're able to establish this anonymous peer review, which has been working well in our system. Prerequisites for research quality: well-motivated, knowledgeable, and competent researchers. And I said we have this pool of researchers that are around us, which we draw on ad hoc basis. They are affiliated to the institute as associate fellows. But also, we run into some risk because of problems of availability and timeliness. That is something that we are battling with. So why that is a strength is also a weakness, because and that is why we are trying to build our in-house research capacity. Currently, we are in the process of hiring at least 2 research directors. And that will be very, very soon. Within the next 1 month, the research directors will take their positions along with the new executive director that will going to run the institute. Now, of course, the anonymous peer review mechanism is an important system that we put in place, and a workshop-based methodological scrutiny for transparency's sake. Now, our research programs, those that are initiated by us, we have a systematic program, starting with a concept note, proposal seminar, work in progress, then finding seminar, and a validation seminar. So this is, for every research that we do, it's a kind of a policy that has been adopted by the scientific board of the institute, that we have to go through this process to ensure quality in terms of the research science, to ensure participation, to ensure that end users also make inputs upfront and feel the need for the research. Of course, as scientists, we depend on the state-of-the-art literature in order to be able to have good quality and sound logic in our research. Of course, value proposition, discernible value-added research product. We try to identify where we have comparative advantage in terms of the resources that we have and the research personnel that we have. We try to define our values where we are able to add the maximum value to the system, and then develop a research program around that topic. Adequate and appropriate research facilities, we'll be able to at least acquire some very useful softwares for analysis and good connectivity, at least the best that we can get in the country, and to be able to have access to cutting-edge literature and cutting-edge peer review system that we can have. Also, these are the principles that we also adopt at the Institute to assure quality. End user feedback, validation. This is very important. For every research that we do, we have a policy seminar at the beginning and at the end. The policy seminar at the beginning is to collate and elicit inputs from the policy makers and the end users into defining the research problem. Then at the end of the research, we go for validation before we do the final report, because we use that opportunity to get the feedback from the policy makers and from the end users concerning the preliminary and the provisional results from the research. So this is what we do to be able to ensure end user feedback, validation, policy relevance, and science procedure. These are the 3 pillars of our research quality at the Institute: scientific procedures, methodology, okay, policy relevance, because we're a policy research institute, we're not just an academic research institute, and also end user feedback. These are the 3 pillars that guide our research quality considerations at the Institute. Now, of course, we have challenges to our research quality in terms of the process. Sometimes staff engage in very destructive short-term studies and consultancies, and that reduces concentration for the long-term the research program that the Institute has developed. And this is particularly prominent because we have most of our research outputs currently is still produced by researchers that are outside full-time employment of the research institute. And that's what we're trying to resolve now, trying to have more full-time research personnel in-house so that we can have greater control of the research program and also greater control of the time and all that. Research capacity and staff retention, getting the right mix of incentives is very important. Everybody's talking about it. How do we, be able to, recruit, motivate, retain, and all that? How do you, what kind of mechanisms will you use? That's one thing I said when we're doing what we're going to learn from this forum. For me, I said, what I will learn is how to keep researchers from not leaving the institute, even after you paid heavily to train them and to incentivize them. So, because the job market is dynamic. It's very dynamic. So what mechanisms, for those of you who have succeeded in keeping people for a long time, I think we need to have one-on-one meetings to know the magic that you used to do that. It's a very difficult thing. And also, paucity of research funding leading to stoppages, downsizing, and incomplete study packages. Of course, there's still inadequate, effective local demand for policy research. There's almost the culture of dependency of our governments on donor facilitated research. So because of that, the government budgets do not actually emphasize funding for research. I don't know whether that is so in your country, but I know that we have very, very little portion of the country's budget devoted to research. And I think that both research quality has to be taken into context, and there has to be adequate, effective local demand, national demand for policy research. That way, there's a challenge to the research system. There's a kind of a groundswell to improve quality and to assure that research is not just quality, of good quality in terms of serving the needs, meeting the criteria of researchers, but also in terms of addressing the felt needs of end users, whether they are policymakers or whether they are civil society. Important lessons for quality assurance. These are the lessons that practically for us are important in terms of sustaining our research quality. Linking to research networks, regional, international, pays off very well because of trying to complement ourselves and trying to have access to very cutting-edge international. Okay, beautiful. I'm almost there. Establishing institutional collaboration and linkages to leverage other strengths. Of course, we don't operate in isolation. We are looking forward to partnering, collaborating, to complement ourselves, because that is the way to go. And establishing quality markers or footprints at every stage of the research process. We have done this at the Institute, that for every research that we conduct, our own generated research, we have a systematic procedure and landmarks that we follow. And that has been approved by the Board of Directors and is being implemented for every research that we have. Seminar, workshop approach in validation and feedback has helped us. It has helped us a lot, and we'll keep on doing that. Team building, mentoring, and cumulative learning. We work as teams, and everybody has something to bring to the table. Adequate and up-to-date library and e-resources enabled by the TTI, that is helping a lot. Also, timeliness is crucial, particularly for policy research to influence reforms. This is very important. Our ability to respond rapidly, which means we have to get always ready to go. One way we have solved this problem is that many years ago, 2006, we started an initiative called the Data Bank Initiative, whereby we pull data from different sources, from our own research and all that, so that we do not have to reinvent the wheel. So if we have any research question that we need to answer rapidly, we draw upon the research data bank and develop, have that kind of response in a rapid sense. That has helped us a lot, and I think that is something that has worked for us. Having an in-house research data bank of socioeconomic indicators for the country and for other parts of the globe. And I think that's okay. Thank you very much. I think this is actually the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.